Let's talk about the solution of our first weekly assignment. I go through it briefly. I show you the way, and for sure after that things will be easier. But as I understood, based on your solutions, it was good for most of you. You got it even 100% right. And even if you have received 100, it's not guaranteed that you didn't have any error. Maybe you had miscalculation, maybe you had mistakes. So that's why it's very important, even if you got 100, at least once listen to this video, or when you are participating in online session, try to listen to it. Maybe you made some small errors. And if you receive 50 instead of 100, it means that you had major problems. For sure, you should watch this video. And if you got 0, it means that most probably you didn't even submit your work. But it was very satisfying from the first week. I think most of you submitted your work. Maybe 1 or 2 students just missed that. So I'm very happy about it. I hope throughout the semester you will continue with this. I'm sure if you continue weekly, then we won't have any problems about our midterm and final either. I've chosen the solution belongs to one of the students. Maybe even this one has some errors. We will find out. But this one looked nice, and it looked, I think, good enough for using for our answer key. But let's go through it together, maybe each pair from each question. So the way this student organized it, he or she organized it inside table, sequences inside table. This is a good idea because it avoids miscalculation for you. Some of you used other methods, or some of you even just write it and took a picture with high quality. This could work too. Even for midterm and final, you can use that too. But you should make sure that the quality of picture is good. One of the students did it terribly, and I also gave feedback that this is not good, although I gave him 100%, but for midterm and final won't be acceptable. Okay, and the student also specified initials for each one of the scores. For example, for matches, use M, but these information are given to you. If you see any miscalculation also, please let me know, because I didn't type them, but it seems okay. So for mismatch, for example, the student consider X for new gap penalty O and E for the gap extension. Let's tackle one pair and see if it's okay. So first sequence is here, the second one is here. Now you can see exactly which gap is corresponded to each letter. Whenever you start a new gap, we call it a new open gap. So here we can consider it with O as penalize it by -5. From the second cell, again, one gap happened to be after another. In this case, we call it the gap extension. Whenever it happens, then you consider -1 because the question gave you -1. In another question, maybe we give you another value for penalized gap extension, okay? So it's not fixed always. So what about the third one? Here, again, this is called the extended one. And again, you should penalize this one with -1. Some students just gave -1 to this, and they moved on to the match that we have here. No, we should penalize all of them. So this is correct. We should penalize all of them. And here we reach a match, so +2, +2, +2, a mismatch, -2, and so on. At the end, we should get the summation of all of the scores here, which is -2. So this one sounds okay, but if there's a miscalculation, please let us know. So We do the same exactly for other pairs, and at the end we should find the maximum value among them. So if the calculations are correct, then -2 should be selected because it has the maximum value. Let's also take a look at this just as an example. So this is a new gap. This one is the extended true, and this one is the match. Again, when you have a new gap here, we should penalize it with -5, not with -1. Okay, some of you, but few of you actually made that mistake. So I think this is easy. As soon as you see one of them, and it's very easy to deal with them. So let's go through the second question. This is basically the same question, but instead of nucleotides, now we have proteins. Now you have different way of giving them scores. For open and extended penalties, we have the same values, but for mismatch and match, we have different values. So let's take a look at this one because this one was a little tricky comparing to others. Okay, this is the new open gap. Again, the same here. But some of you asked me whether I should consider this one as extended gap or open gap. This is a good question because in different algorithms, again, they are different. Because if you fix this sequence and try to give scores based on this, so you see, it could be different maybe answer to compare them just pairwise. And this is a pairwise alignment. So what some of you may offer is that to consider this one as extended one. If you do that, still this is correct. But if you consider it as open gap, again, this is a correct answer. But personally, what I prefer to consider this one as a new open gap. Why is that? Because assume that if I have this strategy to one by one apply gaps like this, then instead of -5, you will get which penalty? You get -1 only. So assume that I apply to the whole sequence and you have a long sequence. So this is the way that you are avoiding to receive bigger penalties, you know? So personally, I prefer to consider this one as a new open gap penalty. So it depends on you. Even if you call it extended because it happens from another gap, still it will be a valid answer. Unless in the question we specify that you should for sure consider it open one. So yeah, in that case, you should follow as the question asked you. Okay, guys, so if you have any question about the first assignment, please let me know. Otherwise, I will move on to explain about your second assignment.